A lot of people really enjoyed Sean Connery's last outing as James Bond in the movie Never Say Never Again. A lot of people thought that this was just well done, but for me, I was not that impressed with this film at all. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to see Sean Connery back in action, it really was. The problem is that it just really did not feel like a Bond film. You definitely cannot ignore his age in this movie. There are definitely problems with this movie, which is why we are going to talk about Never Say Never Again has a problem. You know, the one scene I actually did enjoy about the movie, the video game scene, the game's called Domination, I actually really did enjoy the scene, but a lot of people apparently didn't. The video game gives shocks to the person who continuously is losing and getting higher or lower in the points while his adversary, the one who's winning the game, doesn't feel anything. Connery, after 2 attempts to play the game, finally figures out how to beat Largo at the game. It's actually a good scene as far as I was concerned, but a lot of people just did not like this. One of the big problems that I have with this movie is Bond and Domino. It's an issue for me. Why, you may ask, I have a problem with this? Well, it's because of a movie that came out 2 years later, A View to a Kill. Roger Moore and Tanya Roberts. The age gap between the two of them in this movie, Roger was in his mid-50s and Tanya was around 30, and the age gap really disturbed people. In fact, some of them said it was kind of creepy, especially when they had the shower scene together. So it's okay for Sean Connery and Kim Basinger, he was 52 at the time and she was 29, but it is wrong for Roger Moore and Tanya Roberts. Why is that? Is it because Sean was doing James Bond for the very last time and he hadn't done it in 12 years and people expected this type of behavior from his James Bond? Now let's talk about Largo himself. There was nothing menacing about this man. There was nothing in this character, the way he was portrayed, as anyone that you should be afraid of. He was just cold, but there was nothing, it did not seem like there was anything calculating about him at all. Now compare him to the Largo from Thunderball. Massive difference. This Largo was cold, calculating, but at the same time, he was a passionate man. You could hear it in his voice, moments that he was happy, moments that he was sad and angry. You did not see that in any of Largo's performance in Never Say Never Again. One of the other problems for me is the music from the movie. It just did not vibe well with me. The music, the opening music, was just not what I would feel good with as a James Bond theme music, and there was just, to me, there was a lot of jazzy music involved with this movie, and it just didn't feel like you were watching a James Bond movie. And then, of course, there's the gun barrel scene, always at the beginning of every James Bond movie. This is not present in Never Say Never Again. It is such an iconic scene that's been played out since 1962, and without it there, it just seems wrong. This is the opening that we are given for Never Say Never Again, and I understand that this was distributed by Warner Brothers and they did not have the rights to use the gun barrel scene. But to me, this just does not feel right, and the opening theme song that I showed before just doesn't give you this good vibe that you get from a Bond film. Now, I'm definitely not going to say anything bad about Connery himself for the simple fact he did a good job acting. He was good for the part. I still think the age was showing, but the movie itself was a problem for me, though, because it was nothing more than a rip-off of the original Thunderball. They just told the same story all over again. Well, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this, so please drop those comments below and let me know. And until the next time, my friends, God bless.